What is going on, you guys? Admiratory here, and welcome back for another World of Warship video on my channel. Today we're going to be sailing the Tier 9 Japanese battleship Izumo. Now this particular gameplay is actually old, but it's the most solid gameplay I can pull off with the Izumo. It's slow in the beginning, but I do land a lot of long-range salvo throughout the game, and later on at the end of the game I started playing more aggressive with it. So I want to talk to you guys about the ship, the Izumo itself. What makes it a good ship and what makes it a bad ship? At the moment, as the Izumo stands, is not a popular ship to the majority of people who actually play the Izumo, and it's the ship that's right before the Yamato, which is the popular ship. So what makes the Izumo bad and what makes the Izumo good? I want to start off with the bad stuff and let's get those over with. So the problem I have with the Izumo, big time, is the armor. Without a doubt, the Izumo armor is just not up there for a tier 9 standard at all. It is completely inferior to the North Carolina or the Iowa, and this ship looks huge. Like, look at the size of the ship. It looks like a armor moving like Citadel Castle ship, but the armor is just not there for the Izumo, and I'm hoping that Wargaming will fix the armor on the ship. Because a little background about the Izumo, it's a Nelson class, supposedly like a Nelson class copy Japanese version of the ship. The HMS Nelson and the Rodney, which is the sister ship of the Nelson, has this special turret setup, and if you haven't figured, the Izumo has a triple turret on the front and no turrets in the back. Aside from being a triple turret, it's the first Japanese battleship to feature triple cannons on each turret. So the armor on the ship, to give you a good idea how horrible the armor is on this ship, I can't even show my broadside. Like, if I bother to show my broadside and I know that the fact that an enemy is aiming their 16-inch cannon at me, they're guaranteed to do a lot of damage, or they automatically citadel me. That's pretty much it. There's no other conclusion other than that, the fact that they missed their shots on me. But if it lands perpendicular perfectly on my broadside, you can bet that you might get citadel hard if they shoot for the waterline. And if they shoot above the waterline, don't hit the citadel, they will at least do about 5 to 10k damage, which is a lot on the Izumo. Now, on the Iowa side, which is the American counterpart, or North Carolina, they probably take about to 5k damage. But the amount of time you get citadel for playing Iowa or North Carolina with that type of armor is nothing compared to Izumo, because you have a higher chance of getting citadel for showing your broadside. So it is a difficult ship to play, because at all times you gotta have to angle the ship. And understandably, if you play the Japanese battleship line, you know for a fact that their armor for the citadel is not as great as the Americans. So you get used to doing the armor angling, but it's a little bit more difficult with the Izumo. Why is that? Well, when I said that you have 3 main battery turrets in the front, you're gonna have a huge citadel in terms of magazine room, and hitting a magazine room increases the chance of detonation, and detonation is the highest damage you can do to a ship. Like, I had a detonation, actually one of my best gameplays was with the Izumo, ironically. I actually detonated in North Carolina with 1 citadel and then 1 hit, I think. I don't remember, but I detonated 50k right off the bat, and I was very surprised at myself. And it felt really good when you detonate an enemy battleship, especially if it's American battleship, because American battleships are tough to freaking detonate, made out of American steel. But the Izumo looks like a giant castle, but it's thin like paper. The armor is just the biggest fault about the ship. Now, you're probably asking me, should you buy this ship? If you have the chance to use EXP, or what is called Convert XP, free XP boost to the Yamato, and you've been playing the Magi, well, I totally recommend you skip this ship. And there's a big reason why. When I played this ship, I actually played about 100 games by now with this ship, because I'm still grinding to the Yamato. I get very inconsistent results with the ship. It's very dependent on matchmaking. If there's a lot of destroyers out there and a lot of battleships, you're gonna have a tough time playing with the Izumo, mainly because destroyers like to hit big targets, especially the Izumo, the Montana, the Iowa. So you're a big target, and I can't count how many times I got 1 torpedo completely sink me. Yes, 1 torpedo can do 50k damage or 70k if it hits one of your your turrets, one in your magazine room, and it happens twice already. So that's pretty high for detonation. I even run the magazine modification thing where it decreases 20% of magazine detonation. So the Izumo is a highly volatile, if I were to describe it, ship to get detonated. So it depends on the matchmaking. You're gonna see a lot of the destroyers out there looking for you. So it's tough to play the ship. And if you have the chance to do a XP boost, or what's it called, XP conversion, do it, because at the moment, at this state, the Izumo needs a huge buff on the armor. Now, aside from me bagging on the Izumo, let's talk about the good stuff about it and what makes it unique. So, the unique feature, like I said, it has 3 main batteries on the front and none on the back. And you might be wondering, if you haven't figured, why would they do that? What is the idea behind this, okay? So, let me explain. First thing first, this ship supposed to have one of the highest accuracy of many battleship because of this gun layout. The way they lay out this to have better grouping. Now if you think about it, as we usually play a traditional ship, we have some turrets in the back and some turrets in the front. When you shoot a full salvo or full broadside, at a certain amount of distance, your shells are going to crisscross. And in a short distance, if you haven't had this situation where you a really close ship, you shoot one of your main battery, it doesn't perfectly land where you expect it to land because it's from one end of your ship and to the other end of your ship. Now the advantage of having 3 cannons or 3 main batteries on the front is that you know where you're going to hit for sure, up close and far distance, because all your shots will be well grouped. Now it doesn't mean that it's going to be 100% accurate, because RNG still got to be played, and I do get random moments where the accuracy is really bad on Izumo. But lately I figured out how to play the Izumo, how to aim with the Izumo. It's kind of a little different from how I usually play, because I use, you gotta give a little bit more lead with other battleships, but the Izumo, you kind of give it less lead because your shot is so well grouped for having 3 main batteries in front. So that is the big main ideology of having 3 main batteries on the front, is to give better grouping with your shells. So when you shoot all 9 of your shells downrange, you know where it's gonna land in the perfect group. It's not going to crisscross or do those wacky RNG stuff. Now, like I said, accuracy is a little different at the same time, because you're having triple turrets, anything could happen, because your middle shell might go way left for some sort of reason, your right shell might go up and down and do some wacky crap on you. But this ship as overall, in terms of firepower, is superb. Even though the Iowa and the North Carolina now have the same caliber, they do more damage by like about 600 to, I don't know, 1000. But these shells are really greatly grouped, and you can land a lot of great citadels with it. I mean, this ship does a lot of citadel damage. If you know how to citadel with the Izumo, you pretty much set on the Izumo. And that's the challenge you gotta learn to overcome. And right there, I just hit a citadel on that North Carolina. A lot of the American battleship players take advantage of their citadels in terms of armor, and a lot of people don't realize that although the Izumo is weak in armor, you can easily do a lot of peak shots in terms of having 3 main turrets in the front. You just do a quick turn and then shoot your full battery and turn away and point your bow at the enemy. Now a lot of American players, for some sort of reason, they like to show the broadside longer than playing the Japanese battleship, which is understandable, because if you're a Japanese battleship player, you've been spending all your life pointing your angling your armor basically all the time, because you know for a fact that you're going to be easily citadel. But the Izumo has a lot of firepower, and is without a doubt a great advantage of why you want to get the Izumo. Aside from being unique and wanting to get the Izumo for firepower, another big major difference compared to many other Japanese ships that the Izumo has, and it's a change in gameplay. I currently, like I said, this gameplay is actually old, so in this gameplay, I'm actually using the Izumo Hull Upgrade B, and at the moment, I already unlocked C. So C gives you extra secondaries, I believe, and better AA. Ooh, the AA department. So the AA, how good is the AA on the Izumo? It's actually, in a sense, is not better than the Iowa for sure. It's not better than the North Carolina, I believe, but it is a huge difference from the predecessor ships, because the Nagato, the Magi, all the Japanese ships you've been playing, on average, if you shoot down any planes, you probably shoot on average 7 or to 10 at best. Like at best, if you get a good gameplay with those ships, you probably shoot at 10, 12 planes down. With the Izumo, your average amount of planes you shoot down is probably up to 15 if they really want to kill you. If the CB focuses you really badly, you can shoot down 15 planes on average, and if you survive long enough in terms of dodging out the torpedoes and he constantly sending planes out there, you can shoot down 20 planes, which is pretty good for a Japanese battleship. So the AA is a big advantage of the Izumo, and I really like that factor, the fact about having better AA, because all my entire Japanese ship experience, I have no good experience with AA. But the Izumo is a completely different change. Now this is probably like the lower notch or lower end of American battleship AA to compare it to, but it's better than AA and you might as well take it. So firepower and AA is what makes the Izumo special. Now, aside being having bad armor, better firepower, better AA, should you really buy this ship? Well, if you really want the Yamato, you might as well convert your XP, like I said. But if you want to save some money and know you can convert it, but you want to try out the Izumo, I'm gonna say it's tough to play the Izumo, but at times it's kind of a learning curve, and I learned a lot from the Izumo. So I would recommend you buy the ship if you have the chance to play with it. And I know a lot of people, it's really tough. I tell you guys right now, it's really tough to play it. And I would avoid it. If I had a chance to skip it, I would. But at the moment, I'm kind of starting to like the ship. As you get more upgrades on the ship, get the hull upgrade right away, the fire control system and all that stuff, you start to like the ship a lot. And you can start to appreciate the fact that it's the first Japanese battleship to have triple cannons on each turret, and for being very unique on having 3 main batteries in the front, you can feel special sometimes in games. And at times you really become the punching bag of all ships, because the Izumo has the worst concealment, and you get spotted at 19 kilometers and you can't avoid it. If you see a big battleship 19 kilometers away, without doubt you will start shooting at it. The cruiser will start putting you on fire, and that's why at times I usually play the Izumo very passively. Now there's certain maps like Hotspot where you get up close and personal. In reality, I believe the Izumo is best at close range or close quarter combat. Other than that, I don't know what else to say about Izumo. That's my overall feeling about it. They just gotta buff the armor. I mean, they just gotta fix it. It's just not up there. And I believe some people have been saying that the Izumo was designed as a battle cruiser. This ship at this size ain't a battle cruiser. Nowhere near a battle cruiser. It can't be a battle cruiser. It has to be thin and maybe like a Magi long, but it just cannot be a battle cruiser wargaming. So you gotta have to fix the armor, you gotta beef it up. I mean, this thing is a prototype of the Yamato. It is one of the many sketches that the Yamato is supposed to be. So beef up the armor like it should be, because it should be more like a battleship armor, more like Iowa, or at least make it like North Carolina. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time on War of Warships.